Picture this. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, the woman who has built her entire brand on reinvention, resilience, and carefully polished perfection, suddenly at the center of whispers so scandalous they could shake Buckingham Palace to its core. And no, this isn't just another tabloid rumor flying around in glossy magazines. This is coming straight from her bloodline. That's right, her own family is at the heart of this storm. For years, Meghan has lived a life that looked picture perfect. Royal engagements, glittering events, Netflix contracts, polished speeches about authenticity and empowerment. But behind all that shine, a story that has stalked her every move. A story that now, finally, is clawing its way into the open. And it starts with one name, Sean Johnson. Now, who is Sean Johnson? You won't find him sitting in the front row at the royal wedding, nor will you see him posing in glossy spreads with Meghan and Harry. Sean is allegedly Meghan's cousin, tied to her mother, Doria Ragland's side of the family. But instead of staying quietly in the background, Sean decided he'd had enough. After years of trying, unsuccessfully, to get money from Meghan and Doria, Sean did the unthinkable. He talked, and what he revealed is nothing short of jaw-dropping. According to whispers spreading like wildfire, Sean has long claimed that he and Meghan were more than just teenage cousins growing up. Allegedly, their relationship crossed shocking lines. He insists it wasn't just innocent flirting. No, it was a full-on entanglement. And here's where the gossip turns explosive. Rumors swirl that Meghan, in her teenage years, became pregnant, and that Sean may have been the father. Let that sink in for a moment. The woman who married into one of the most scrutinized families on earth may have been carrying a secret so massive it explains the fractured family ties, the silences, and the carefully managed narratives that followed her for decades. And the signs were always there if you look closely enough. Old footage shows a teenage Meghan brushing off her father, Thomas Markle, with a cold line, "We're not speaking." At the time, people chalked it up to classic father-daughter drama, but now, many believe it was something far deeper. Perhaps Thomas knew too much. Perhaps Meghan wanted him silent. And here's the kicker. Sean Johnson never outright denied the pregnancy rumors. When asked about old photos where Meghan's stomach looked suspiciously rounded, he simply said, "That's me standing with her in the picture." Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say, "No, she wasn't pregnant." He didn't say, "No, the baby wasn't mine." He just let that eerie silence hang in the air. And people who know this world of secrets and leverage will tell you, silence can be louder than any words. Friends of Meghan, speaking on condition of anonymity, add even more fuel. One longtime confidant compared it to a Jada Pinkett Smith-style entanglement. Not just a fling, not just a mistake, something much deeper, something Meghan has worked tirelessly to bury. And according to these whispers, Meghan may have even paid Sean off for years to ensure his silence. But once the alleged payments stopped, Sean started talking. Even more chilling. Some claim the pregnancy didn't just end quietly. The whispers suggest it may have led to a birth. And the whereabouts of that child? Still a mystery. For years, speculation pointed to Colorado as the hiding place. But Sean himself cryptically said, "Not Colorado." Just 2 words, and suddenly the conspiracy world went into overdrive. Where then? A boarding school? An adoption clinic? Another state entirely? No one knows for sure, but Sean clearly holds cards he hasn't played yet, and Meghan herself may have teased the truth without even realizing it. In an old interview with Chrissy Teigen, Meghan smiled almost smugly when she spoke about secrets she'd kept hidden for years. Fans thought she was being playful, but now some believe she was hinting at this very bombshell. But let's be honest, this isn't just about one shocking teenage entanglement. This entire saga feels like a pressure cooker that's been building for years, with strange connections, odd silences, and eyebrow-raising decisions all feeding the fire. Take Emma Gree, for example, a name once tied to Hollywood's influencer circuit and the Kardashian empire. Out of nowhere, she's suddenly sitting as an ambassador for the King's Trust. Now, royal appointments aren't something that just fall into your lap. These things take months, sometimes years of vetting. So how did Emma, someone so closely tied to Meghan, end up with King Charles's stamp of approval? The whispers suggest it was no coincidence. Meghan was drowning in bad press, fighting battles on all sides, while Charles himself was desperately trying to salvage his own crumbling public image. Could this have been a quiet trade-off, a calculated move? Emma gave Meghan a platform on her podcast, a platform sprinkled with soft-focused praise and carefully veiled jabs at the royals. And in return, Emma's new role gave Meghan a thin line of connection back into the royal fold. A way to say, "See, I'm still relevant here." But not everyone was convinced. Listeners rolled their eyes at Emma's gushy commentary and Meghan's carefully packaged answers. The whole episode reeked of damage control. Was it a reward? Was it a test? Or was it a chess move between Meghan and Charles, each one desperate to cling to power in their own way? And then there's Ted Sarandos, the Netflix boss himself, married to Nicole Avant. Sarandos once went on record calling Meghan super consequential because she wore $20 shoes made in a village. Really? Critics scoffed at that. Meghan, Meghan, the woman who once threw a Zara party during her Suits days, flaunting designer brands left and right, suddenly hailed for cheap flats? Nobody bought it. But here's the twist. Sarandos later received an honorary OBE, and not just from some random committee, directly nominated by none other than King Charles. Why would Charles, whose son's image Meghan arguably helped shred, reward the man who made her Netflix dreams possible? Is this strategic diplomacy, a behind-the-scenes deal, or another one of those royal arrangements the public will never fully understand? Meghan's detractors are convinced it's all part of a network. You prop up Meghan, you get your title, your nod, your royal favor. But while Meghan may have played her cards well, the cracks inside the royal family are impossible to ignore. Prince William, usually the picture of duty, recently broke protocol in a way that spoke volumes. During one of King Charles's speeches, William didn't clap, he didn't nod, he didn't even look like he cared. He stared straight at the cameras, then sat down before his father had finished speaking. Royal watchers gasped. To them, this wasn't just rudeness, it was a message. William is the future king. His silence, that was power. And it's not just William. Camilla, too, has been caught in moments that fuel speculation. At one recent gathering, she was seen siding with Catherine, yes, Princess Kate, before subtly ushering her out of the room. Was it irritation, a power play, or just awkward timing? Whatever it was, people noticed. The dynamics between Charles, Camilla, William, and Catherine are fraying, and hovering like a storm cloud above it all, Meghan's name. The public, already buzzing with suspicions, latched onto this revelation. If Meghan couldn't have children, how were their pregnancies? Were surrogates involved? Was the palace complicit in crafting a perfect royal family image while hiding the reality? In a monarchy where lineage and heirs are everything, this rumor alone is dynamite. And then, like fate adding salt to the wound, an old video clip started circulating online. Meghan, younger and less guarded, is asked about her relationship with her father. She gives that now infamous line, "We're not speaking." At the time, it felt like the typical Markle family drama everyone was used to reading about. But in the context of today, that silence looks loaded. Was Thomas Markle aware of the teenage pregnancy? Did he know about Sean Johnson? Was their falling out rooted not in petty press battles, but in something far more devastating? Because here's the thing. Thomas has dropped his own cryptic hints over the years. His public spats with Meghan always seemed tinged with something unsaid, like he was holding back knowledge too damaging to throw into the spotlight. Could this have been it? Could Meghan's desperate attempts to control her narrative really be about silencing her own father? And while Meghan holds her silence, the House of Windsor is left to deal with the fallout. This isn't like the typical royal scandal where politicians, journalists, or foreign dignitaries stir the pot. No, this one comes from within Meghan's own family. Bloodline whispers that cannot be erased with a press release or a carefully staged Netflix documentary. What makes it worse is that former friends, schoolmates, and people once close to Meghan are now stepping into the light. They're no longer afraid to talk. They casually confirm what for years was brushed aside as tabloid fiction. They drop comments that make it clear Meghan's past isn't just complicated, it's full of shadows, and those shadows are bleeding into the present. Think about it. Meghan's brand has always been carefully built on truth. Her speeches about authenticity, her public declarations about breaking free from lies. But if these whispers are even partly true, the irony is brutal. The Duchess who claims to fight for transparency may have been hiding the biggest secret of all. The question is, why now? Why are these whispers turning into headlines? Why is Sean Johnson suddenly center stage? Why are old friends now casually confirming what they once denied? The answer may be as simple as this. Meghan's silence no longer works. For years, ignoring scandals and refusing to respond made her appear untouchable. But now, silence is fuel. Every unanswered accusation makes the story louder. Every refusal to comment adds credibility to the whispers. And the royals? They're not blind to this storm. Behind palace walls, Charles is scrambling to keep the monarchy's reputation intact. Camilla is caught between loyalty to her husband and her own fragile public standing. William, visibly cold, is making power plays that remind everyone exactly who the heir to the throne is. And Catherine, always the picture of composure, is quietly navigating the sidelines, careful not to get sucked into Meghan's hurricane. But here's the cruel twist of fate. Meghan's name still hovers at the center of all of it. Even when she's not in the room, even when she's silent, the ghost of her past, her family, her choices, it all refuses to disappear.